Welcome to Secret Story. I rolled over on my side as the morning light filtered through the curtains, hitting me in my eyes. I looked at my sleeping wife next to me. Karen looked so peaceful. Her blonde hair was spread over the pillow, with some strands on her beautiful face. It was Saturday, and Karen had been out with her lady friends from work for drinks and whatever else they did. It was now twice a month on the Friday night of payday that I always let her sleep in. I knew she would sleep late today since she didn't get home till after 1 a.m. I was sure Karen had likely had way too much to drink and needed extra sleep. That I slipped out of bed, went to the bathroom, slipped on shorts and a t-shirt, and gathered the clothes from the hamper. I headed to the laundry room to do the laundry, one of my new chores. A few weeks ago, Karen and I decided to split the household duties, so we were doing chores we liked rather than those we didn't like. I have grown to dislike most yard work, and Karen loves working in the yard. We can easily afford a yard worker, but her working outside is therapeutic, working off the stress from her high-powered management job. On the other hand, I enjoy most domestic chores, like ironing, vacuuming, and washing clothes. I know that is weird for most men, but that's just me. I have all those jobs as my chores. I usually wash the clothes once a week, and we change the sheets every 2 weeks unless we have ruckus and mess them up. Then I change them the next day. We were away last weekend, so I did not do the laundry, so there was a large load. I laid them in the colored pile and picked up the stretched jeans she must have worn. They were inside out. I am sure in her drunken state, she struggled to get them off when she got home. I was surprised that she got them off, put them in the hamper, and didn't just leave her clothes on the floor. I smelled my fingers. There was a strong scent that was not Karen's, but the smell of something else. I knew that, and my heartbeat grew faster as fear overtook my body, hurting me badly. My throat was suddenly full of cotton, and I could not swallow. I was shocked and confused, and my anger was rising rapidly. Another man's, not mine. How could this have happened? What had she done? Had Karen cheated on me? The evidence clearly pointed that way. I also knew for sure that the man was not me. So, who was he? I put the jeans to the side and looked through the rest of the clothes for any more evidence of her cheating. I found other pairs of her as I dug through the clothes pile, but none were nasty like the others. Then I came to the bottom of the pile, and there was a I had never seen before. I smelled them. They still had that same strong smell. The same man had her both times, and God knows how many other times that I kept the yellow pair out, too. I took them to my workshop in the garage and put them in a box on the top shelf. Karen would never look for them there. I returned to the laundry room, put all the laundry in the washer, and turned on the 16-minute wash cycle. I walked down the hall to my bedroom and stood in the doorway, looking at my beautiful sleeping wife, my beautiful sleeping, cheating wife. My heart was broken and beating so fast. It felt like 1,000 beats a minute. My normal golf game was scheduled for this morning, teeing off at 10:14 like I do every Saturday. It would be a good distraction from something I knew would become ugly later. I went to the kitchen and made a cup of Green Mountain coffee on our Keurig coffee machine. I was not hungry, far from it. But I made some oatmeal with raisins to fill me up. I knew I had to eat or fall ill during the game before golf. I thought as I ate. What was going on? What had happened to create Karen's need to cheat on me? What did I do or not do that would make her disrespect me so much that she would do that to us? Did she no longer respect our wedding vows, or maybe she never did? Has she fallen out of love with me and in love with another man? I quietly dressed and left a brief note. Babe, I'm off to play golf with the guys. Can you put the wash in the dryer? I'll sort it out and fold it later when I get home. Love you, MEPS. Let's go dancing tonight, just you and me. On my ride to the club, I was so confused I didn't know where to start to figure out what had happened. I pulled into the parking lot, and my partner Ray was waiting for me. He was my best friend. I decided I needed to confide in someone, and Ray was the only person I could trust to talk to about this. We have shared many things from both sides over the years, so he was a trusted confidant and would be a good sounding board. The golf game was about normal, but I did win $8. During our golf round, Ray had asked, "Jason, are you okay? You seem a little off today. Is something wrong? Do you want to talk about it?" "Later, we can talk about it," I said. That we had lunch in the grill and watched a little golf on TV. I was in no hurry to leave, so Ray and I stayed for a few beers after Paul and John left. We sat off in the corner. We ordered some beers, and I told Ray my dilemma. Ray is a smart man. He is a financial planner and very organized. He asked me all the questions that I had myself. Then he made one very good suggestion. "Jason, hire a PI right now to check out things. If it is nothing, you need to know now. If it is something, the PI will give you a lot of answers and evidence you will need." "Do you know a private investigator, Ray?" I asked. "We have an investigator who works in our legal department. He does PI work on the side. If you want me to, I'll call him right now." Ray offered. Ray called Wilson Stanton, his PI friend, and handed me the phone. We talked, and I explained my problem. He was sorry for me and hoped to find nothing. I gave him the requested info, and he said he would call me as soon as he had anything for me. We agreed on a fee, and I gave him my credit card. Ray and I finished our beers and left for home. As we walked out, Ray stopped us and looked me in the eyes. "Jason, I hope this is nothing. Please don't do anything rash and wait to hear from Wilson. Then, you have to work out a plan. We can do that together if it's necessary. Okay? Ray, I trust your thinking and will not do anything. I will be the loving husband until I know differently." I assured him. When I got home at about 4:30 p.m., Karen was lying by the pool, sunning herself. She looked amazing. Her body covered with sweat and sunscreen, making her glisten in the sunlight. My anger rose every second I looked at her, but not today. I yelled, "Hey, I'm home. I'm hot and sweaty, so I'm going to shower." "No, come out here. We can swim, have a little fun, and shower together." Karen yelled back. "Nope, not interested, taking a shower," I said firmly. I knew that would hit a nerve, and she would know something was wrong. I went upstairs and looked outside to see if Karen was staying outside or coming in to follow me upstairs. I noticed she was settled in, sunning herself. I went into my office and logged into the computer. I entered Karen's email account, looking for anything unusual. Things all looked normal. I saw a Yahoo account reference I was unfamiliar with, but I couldn't access it. That was a little suspicious. Karen had her phone outside so that I couldn't check it for anything unusual. I could check it when she came in to get ready for tonight. That I took my shower, soaking under the hot pulsing water. It helped me relax. I washed completely, dried, and dressed for tonight. That it was about 5:30 p.m. I knew it would take Karen an hour to get ready, so I called her. "Karen, it's 5:30 p.m., and we need to leave about 6:30 p.m. You need to come shower and get ready." Karen came inside and tried to kiss me, but I stayed away so she didn't oil my clothes. "You are oily. Get cleaned up and dressed, and we will kiss then," I said. As Karen showered, I looked through the phone she had left in the kitchen. I looked at her texts and emails. I saw a few contacts I didn't know, but I have a lot of people on my phone that I don't know myself. I looked on the dates of her girls, night out, and bingo, there were messages from Joseph. Joseph's text, "Look forward to dancing with you tonight. I want to hold you again." Followed by kisses and eggplant emojis. That was telling, especially the eggplant emoji. Karen's text, "I'll be there after the girls, and I have dinner. They aren't coming dancing tonight, so we are free of them." Followed by kisses and eggplant emojis. The eggplant emoji was a big concern and a real signal, telling me what would happen later that night. That I was sad to find what looked like real proof. I shared Joseph's contact info with me, closed her phone, and returned it to where she had placed it. That I went on my phone and sent Joseph's contact info to Wilson. "This may be the man, so check him out completely. I want to know everything about him. I had been thinking about my plan for tonight and hoped that something might innocently be disclosed, but I doubt Karen would let anything slip. That I knew she went to Tommy's Roadhouse with the girls to dance, so I suspected that was where she met her lover. I would take her to Regino's Italian for a wonderful dinner and then to Tommy's. That might freak her out, and if I'm lucky, the guy will hit on her while I am there. That will totally mess her up. Karen came down the stairs looking beautiful. She was wearing a blue dress, showing her amazing body. Her lush blonde hair was up, exposing her neck. Her makeup looked amazing. Tonight, she was the total package. Wow, Karen, you look amazing. Let's go. I can't wait to show you off. I said as I took her hand and led her out to the car, opening her door. We had a casual conversation on the way to the restaurant and through dinner. Our meal was excellent. The wine was good, and then we were off to go dance. I had not told Karen where we were going dancing. So I headed toward Tommy's. As we rode along, Karen asked, "Where are we going to dance?" I thought we would go out to Tommy's Roadhouse. I heard they had a great band there. Karen didn't say anything but began to fidget in her seat. "Karen, are you okay? We can go somewhere else if you want to." I thought we had not been there and heard it was a good place. "You girls go there sometimes, don't you?" I asked. No, it's okay. It is a good place to dance. They have a great band. The girls and I have been there many times." "Do they have the same band all the time? When were you there last?" As we pulled into a full parking lot, Karen said, "I guess a few weeks ago. They have a house band most of the time. It looks like they are full tonight." As we approached the door, the doorman said, "Hi Karen." I didn't react, but Karen was clearly shaken at his familiarity. She hurried by him without a word. They were very busy, but a few tables were near the dance floor. We took seats, and a waitress, June, welcomed us, recognizing Karen, too. "Hey girl, how are you doing?" Karen was shaken again but did respond, "June, I am doing well. This is my husband, Jason." Making a point to tell her that I was her husband, June said, "Oh, okay, I see, you're Jason, Karen's husband, nice to meet you." Karen almost panicked. She was breathing fast and wringing her hands. I had made the right decision to bring her here. That I was watching Karen and everyone else dancing while listening to the band. I was trying to let things surface on their own. That seemed to be happening even better than I had hoped. Our drinks arrived, and I tipped June 20. We took a swallow of our drinks just when a slow dance started. I pulled Karen out of her seat and swept her onto the dance floor. I held her tight, and Karen laid her head against my chest as we swayed to the music. She felt wonderful in my arms as the music played. A second slow song started, and we continued to dance. As we danced along, I felt a tap on my shoulder. "May I break in, please?" a man's voice boomed. That I looked at the man standing beside us. He looked at me and said, "Karen, how are you tonight?" I stepped away and placed her hand in his. Karen looked at me in shock as I walked back to the table. My plan was working beautifully. Karen was bewildered as she danced and talked to the man as if she knew him. He was a good dancer, and they looked good together. He held her tight to his body. Karen was fighting him a little at first, but soon they melded together, and it was clear that they had danced many times before. June came by and asked if we wanted another round. "Yes, thanks. Bring Karen's regular drink and another beer for me." I watched Karen and the man dance through 2 fast songs and another slow song. Karen didn't seem to mind dancing with him and not me. I was not offended, just curious. June returned with my beer and Karen's normal drink. A Cosmopolitan, a drink I had only seen her drink a few times. This should be interesting. I thought. That I tipped June another 20 and asked her, "What is the name of the man dancing with Karen?" I missed it when he cut in. "That is Alan, but I am not sure of his last name. He's new and has only been coming in about 2 months. He is a good dancer, and they dance together a lot when Karen is here." So, June, how often does Karen come dancing? June looked at me with that look, then answered me as I laid another 20 on her tray. She is here at least once a week most weeks, but some weeks she is here 2 or 3 nights. June said, "Oh no, I'm not getting her in trouble, am I? I like Karen. She is always nice to me." "No, June, Karen has already gotten herself in trouble, so you are in the clear." "But June, she can't know what you have told me, you understand," I stated as I put 2 more 20s on her tray. "Thank you. One more thing, June, is there a guy named Joseph with whom Karen dances a lot? Is he here tonight?" June looked at me sadly. "No, he is not here tonight. He only comes in during the middle of the week. He's from out of town and travels here on business almost every week. They are together when he and Karen are here." "Oh God, they are having an affair, aren't they?" June said, sounding shocked, but she wasn't really. "Oh, Jason, I am so sorry." "Thank you, June." I slipped one last $20 bill on her tray. June looked at me, smiled, and walked away. That I sat back and sipped my beer as I watched Karen and Alan dancing several more dances. They were a good pairing, moving together like a well-oiled machine, always knowing each other's movements. Alan wasn't as tall as me, so Karen's head rested partially on his shoulder. If Karen weren't with me and I saw her dancing like this with him, I might have thought they were in love, but that was not the case. At least, I didn't think so. Finally, the 6th or 7th song ended, and Karen said something to Alan. She left him on the dance floor and returned to our table. Karen looked sheepish, realizing she had been gone for so long. The band was taking a break, so it was much quieter now. Karen was embarrassed as she sat down and looked at me, measuring my reaction, but she said nothing. "You looked great out there. You are a good dancer, and so is the man. It was like you guys were real dance partners, knowing each other's moves so well, like you had danced together 1,000 times. It was very nice to watch." Karen could not look at me, so she looked down at the table and saw the drink, a Cosmo, sitting there. Her face turned ash white, and she looked up at me. There was panic on her face. "Where did this come from?" Karen managed to squeak out. "Oh, June brought that over. She said it was from a secret admirer, who liked how you were dancing." I said, playing the unknowing husband. The expression on Karen's face quickly changed from panic to fear. She stood up, looked around, and said, "I need the restroom after all that dancing. I'll be right back." I am sure Karen quickly ran off to gather herself and speak to June. My plan was working well. I had her scared to death that her secret would be exposed. But I am simply an innocent bystander observing my cheating wife circulating in her cheating environment. As painful as it was, seeing her with the other man while I was learning about her cheating ways, I derived a bit of pleasure from watching Karen squirm. She was scared that I might already know or could find out what she had done. That I was crying inside, but outside, I kept the pressure on, not giving her 1 ounce of relief before we got home. Then I will her hard and wipe out any doubt she has that I know anything. It will also show Karen what she is about to lose. Maybe Karen will remember that I am Jason, her loving husband, attending to her every need like I have tried to for all these years. When Karen returned, we danced a few more dances, but I kept her for myself as several other men tried to cut in. I clarified to Alan, who wanted to cut in several times, that she was unavailable. My possessive manner upset Karen since she liked dancing with him. We had a full evening and were about to leave when Karen asked, "Jason, I like dancing with Alan. May I ask him for one last dance?" I looked at Karen, thinking of how bold or crazy she was to ask me that question. She either thought I would see it as an innocent thing, which it was, or she didn't care that I had found out she was cheating on me. As painful as it was, knowing Karen would rather dance with another man rather than me, I smiled. "Sure, go ahead. You guys look good dancing together. Have a good time," I said, laying it on thick. Karen stood, leaned over, and kissed me. "I love you, Jason," she said, and walked to the bar. I watched her talking with Alan and another man standing at the bar. I saw the other man place his hand on Karen's right cheek. I was surprised when Karen didn't push it away. I saw her whisper something to him. He looked at me and moved his hand away. June rolled by one last time, checking on drinks. I asked her, "June, who is the guy on the right of Karen?" June looked at me. Her face went slack with a sad look. "That is Joseph Long. I thought he didn't come in on the weekends. He is in town for a weekend meeting and was here last night with," choking on her words. "With Karen?" I finished her statement. June swallowed hard, nodding. "I was really surprised when you came in tonight, and I learned you were her husband. I didn't know Karen was married. I never saw any wedding rings, only a ruby ring on her hand." I smiled at her. "Thank you, June, you have been very helpful." "Oh God, Jason, I am so sorry, I have said way too much." June sighed. "June, it is what it is. Your being so open with me may have helped us save our marriage. So, June, you should feel good about that. One last thing, who bought her the Cosmo?" "Joe did, but he didn't want me to announce it." June confirmed. "Do you think he knows who I am?" "Before Karen went to the bar just now, no, but I am sure he knows now." June said as she nodded toward the dance floor that I looked across the dance floor, and Karen was dancing with Joe, not Alan, as she had requested. They embraced tightly. Dancing to Andy Williams, Moon River, that I slipped June a final $100 tip, thanked her, and she hurried off. That was the last I saw of her that night. She had provided me with a wealth of information, clearing up my questions that I watched Joe and Karen dance, trying to decide whether to break in to dance with my wife, seeing their reaction and stirring things up further tonight. But I stayed seated like I had been most of the night, letting things play out. That I decided to watch them dance and see what they did. It deeply saddened me to see them being so familiar. My heart sank. Karen was giving her love to Joe, the love she used to give exclusively to me. I got up and moved toward the men's room. It allowed me to get a better camera angle. I took out my phone, taking several shots of Karen and Joe before moving to the men's room. I peed and washed my hands and face, clearing my thinking a little. That I walked back into the room and saw them still dancing, but to a different song. I watched for a minute and saw Karen look at our table, realizing I was not there. Her head spun around, scanning the room. She could not see me tucked in the corner. She panicked, frantically saying something to Joe. He kissed her lightly on the lips, and they separated. I caught their kiss in another camera shot. I watched Karen's confusion as she looked around and returned to our table. She sat down and took a swallow of her Cosmo. I walked back to the table, scaring her as I approached from her back. Karen looked up at me and nearly panicked again. "Let's get out of here," she said. That I sat down. "Why, you are having fun, aren't you? You are a popular dance partner with the men, you would rather dance with any of them than your husband. So, Karen, why don't you stay and dance the night away? I will leave, and you can dance all you want with them and not have to worry about me," I said sternly. I stood and walked toward the exit. That I didn't look back. I knew Karen was shocked at my statement. Before I reached the door, Karen had caught up to me. She grabbed my arm. I stopped and looked at her. If my eyes were lasers, they would have burned through her soul. My look struck fear in Karen, preventing her from saying a word. That we walked silently to the car. The ride home was the same. No words were spoken. Karen was squirming in her seat. I knew she wanted to say something but was afraid of my response. We pulled into the garage, and Karen dashed out of the car into the house. I wasn't sure what Karen was thinking, but I knew she was worried. Many things had happened at Tommy's that should have alarmed me, even if June hadn't been so forthcoming. Add to all that Joe was there, and he had sent her a drink, and they danced close and kissed like lovers. Everything went wrong for Karen tonight and me. Confirming my greatest fear that it had not been 24 hours yet, and I knew almost everything. before I went inside, I turned my phone on, and there were 3 texts from Wilson. Wilson's text number 1, ran your CC for $1,000. Wilson's text T number 2, I emailed you a profile on Joseph Long, interesting. Wilson's text number 3, he is in town. He and Karen were together last night at his hotel. I sent you security footage as they went into his room and when she left 3 hours later. It is as you expected. I am so sorry. I sat on my workbench stool, opened the email, and went to the video first. Karen and Joe were in the elevator kissing and playing like lovers do. The door opened, and Joe stepped out with Karen clinging to him. She was pretty drunk. Maybe she had to be to go through with it. They walked down the hall, stopped at his door, and he kissed her hard. She held on to him and kissed him back as he opened the door and swept her inside. The time-lapse skipped to 12:26 a.m. when Karen came out the door, fluffed her hair, and sleeked down her dress. She stood up straight and confidently walked down the hall and left. The video shifted to the hotel front, where an Uber picked her up. I closed the video and opened Joe's profile. He was a successful sales VP for a large national company. He was married with 3 children, 14, 10, and 6 years old. Joe's wife came from money and lived in Plano, Texas. They had been married for 16 years. His wife, Lanny, was a lawyer but was a stay-at-home mom who did not practice. She was highly active in the community and was on several boards of nonprofits. Joe's position required him to travel to his district offices frequently. The office in our city had just opened several months ago, so he was here a lot overseeing the hiring and setup. He was responsible for 5 district offices. He made $200,000 last year in salary and $50,000 in bonus. He was doing very well. With Joe's standing in the community, he had a tremendous amount to lose, and Joe's wife's community activities would also be damaged. Joe could lose it all: his job, his wife, his kids, and his position in the community. My mission will be to ensure Joe will lose all that and more. My text to Wilson, thanks, keep on it. I know he's in town. I saw him tonight dancing with my wife. Is there a way to track their texts and emails on my phone? Wilson's text, I'll send you a link for both. Follow the instructions, and you will mirror her email and text on your phone. I received Wilson's email with the 2 links. I decided to wait to send the links until the morning. Now, I needed to get inside to see what Karen was doing. I entered the house and found Karen sitting at the kitchen table with a glass of wine. As I walked past Karen, she looked at me. I could see she was upset. What is the matter, Karen? You, Jason, you, are the matter. Me, what did I do? I took you out for a nice dinner, and then we went dancing, or rather you went dancing, and I went sitting. So, what is the problem? I hoped we would come home. I said as any normal husband would do. Karen looked at me, wanting to say something, but thought better of it and bit her tongue. I continued, Karen, did you not have a fun time? We had a great dinner, didn't we? We went dancing, and I know you enjoyed that. You were extremely popular at Tommy's, so I didn't get to dance with you like I wanted to, but you had fun, didn't you? You sure looked like you did. But Jason, the comment you made before you got up and walked out. What was that about? Well, Karen, as I said, you were dancing a lot more than I was, and it was obvious you liked to dance with other men rather than me. So, I figured you were having fun, and you should continue having fun. I thought you should stay and dance more if you wanted to. But I had seen enough of you dancing, so I was no longer sitting on the sidelines watching you enjoy dancing with other men. Was I wrong about any of that? Karen looked down as she took a sip of wine. I had taken all the wind out of her sails. Karen looked at me. I am so sorry. I know it was our night out, not my night out. It was supposed to be you and me tonight, and I made a mess of that. I apologize. Jason. I was selfish and not thinking of you. Look, I wanted to have a nice, loving night with you. I know you like to dance, so I tried Tommy's and thought we could spend the night holding each other on the dance floor. But you were so popular with the other men who are probably far better dancers than me that I didn't get many dances with you. You go there with the girls, and the guys there like to dance with you. You know many of them, even the doorman knows your first name. How often do you go there? I stuck a little needle in her side, looking for a response. Karen's breath caught in her throat as a little panic set in. Her face grew ashen now, and she was sipping her wine. Looking down. I had definitely hit a nerve or two. Karen was trying to find a way out of this conversation without offering answers, so she said, "It's okay. I understand that I messed up tonight, so let's drop it and let me make it up to you in bed." So, my next phase kicked in. I accept your apology for messing up our night, so please accept mine for not making love tonight. But now I am not in the mood after seeing you with all the other men. I'm not feeling it right now. I looked straight into her eyes, wondering if she could feel the laser beams boring into her. Karen suddenly broke down and ran to the bedroom, closing the door. Ah yes, the pain was setting in, but this pain was only scratching the surface compared to what was coming. Karen had no idea. I left Karen alone the rest of the night and slept alone in the guest room. I awoke at about 6 a.m. I got up quietly, entered our bedroom, and got my gym clothes. I checked to make sure Karen was still sleeping. God, she was beautiful even after 15 years. I love her body. I closed the door and quietly changed in the other room. I went to the kitchen and made a cup of coffee in my Keurig. I went to my office and opened the email from Wilson. He sent instructions on the mirror software. I got Karen's laptop and phone from the kitchen and loaded the software. It was a ghost, so she would never detect it. I put them both back where they were before. I initiated the software and saw there were texts from last night. I looked at the first one at 7:30 p.m. Joe's text, "How are you? Is there any way you can get away over the weekend? You know, I would love to see you." Later, Karen's text, "We are at dinner, then going dancing somewhere other than Tommy's, I hope." Joe's text, "Come to Tommy's. I'll be there. At least we can dance and touch each other." Karen's text, "No, that would be terrible, I couldn't take it." Joe's text, "It will be okay, he will never know, you will just be dancing with other men, he won't know anything. He will let you dance with other men, won't he?" Karen's text, "This is our date night. Jason has picked the place. And I don't know where we are going, a surprise." Joe's text, "How sweet of him. What an arrogant prick," I thought. I bet he's cheating with other men's wives like most men. It must be the macho thing about taking something irreplaceable from someone else. I would have to pay him back nicely once this all plays out. I heard Karen rustling around in the kitchen. I let her go for a while and read the next text string. Karen's text, "Joe, are you here? What the hell were you thinking, sending a Cosmo to our table?" Joe's text, "It's your favorite cocktail, and he will have no idea who I am or who the secret admirer is." Karen's text, "Don't be stupid and arrogant, Joe, we both have way too much to lose." Joe's text, "Okay. At least dance with me a couple of times." Karen's text, "Maybe." Karen knocked on the door and stuck her head in, "Babe, I have made breakfast, so come eat." I went to the kitchen and watched Karen move around, making our plates, pancakes, and fried eggs with bacon. She made another cup of coffee and sat with me as we ate. The food was good. "Thanks, this is all so good. I love your cooking for me. You do it so well." I praised her. Karen looked at me, and I caught her eye. I knew she wanted to talk, but she had to start it. I kept eating as my phone vibrated in my pocket just as I heard her phone ding. I bet it was a text from Joe. Karen didn't move. Karen looked at me as she finished her food and said, "I am sorry about last night. I was not thinking. It was our date night, and I messed it all up. I don't know what came over me." she said, trying to wiggle out of her jam that I finished eating, wiped my mouth, and put down my napkin. I sat back and looked at her. I was going to hit her hard. I picked that place because they have a great band that can play anything. They have a big dance floor, so we would not constantly be bumping into all the other dancers. I thought it would be great fun for us. But I didn't know that you know so many men there that love to dance with you that I would not get to dance with you but 3 times, and you didn't even seem to care. I stated firmly. Karen winced at that statement. And began chewing her lip, a tell that she was extremely nervous. Why is that, Karen? How do you know so many men that want to dance with you? It seems very suspicious to me. Should I be worried about anything? I was staring into her eyes that I saw fear spread over her face as tears welled up. Karen swallowed hard. Her hands shook, and she tried to speak, but nothing came out. Karen stood and dashed off to the bedroom and slammed the door. That I knew I could go for the jugular now, but I needed proof of her infidelity, video, and photo evidence of the actual act. When Karen returned to the kitchen, I had cleared the dishes and filled the dishwasher. She was dressed in stretched jeans and a polo shirt. With her purse in her hand that I looked at Karen and asked, "Are you going to answer my question?" Karen's dander was up now, so she felt empowered, and she barked back at me, "Your question doesn't deserve an answer, so, no, I am not answering it. I am going out for a while. I'll be back to cook dinner." She said that. I just looked at her as if I were hurt. Karen turned and stormed out the door. That I picked up my phone and texted Wilson, "Karen is on the move." Wilson's text, "My man is on her. We put an auto tracker on her car so you can track where she is on your phone. Here is the app link." My text, "Thanks." I installed the app and saw Karen's car approaching the mall movie theater. That didn't concern me. She liked the movie, it would allow her to escape for a while. Then, I read the text that came in while we were eating. Joe's text, "You, okay?" Karen's text, "Jason is very upset about last night. He would hardly talk to me. It was supposed to be a night when Jason and I made passionate, but it turned into nothing." Joe's text, "I am so sorry. It was cute at the time, but I see now it was reckless. Do you think he knows anything?" Karen's text, "No, but he is suspicious now that something is happening." Joe's text,